Welcome to Tai Chi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at our waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, point your chin. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. Interlock those fingers, stretch them to the ceiling. Turn at the hips and waist to peek at the heel of your opposite foot. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight to the left. Kick your right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet, choose the right side, cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get a good stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. Cross training now. Fanjurong, hands extended, fingers wide spread, going forward. Yat, ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Reverse. Yat, ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Okay, making circles with our foot, hands at our waist, stand first on your left, good Tai Chi posture, Gurkoi Mun, Yat, Ni, Sam, Se, Look, Chat, Bat, Go, Sup. Reverse, Yat, Ni, Sam, Se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Stand on your right, circle with your left. Be, yat, ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Reverse, yat, ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Pile of sand in front of us. We're going to kick up the sand. Standing on our left, root it down, kick up the sand with your right. Yube, yat, ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Pedal forward, press down. Ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Stand on the right, kick up the sand with your left. Yube, yat, ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Pedal forward, yat, ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Playing our drums, squatting down as far as you can, flaring out your feet this time. You don't have to have it parallel. Right hand by our forehead. Here we go. Yat, ni, sam, se, look, chat, bat, go, sup. Very good. Okay. Golden cockerel. Okay, good Tai Chi posture, studying everything about you, about yourself, to make that good golden cockerel and balance safely. Okay, opening up our span, good Tai Chi posture. Here we go. Last one. Kicking out. 50-50, shift to the left, tuck those elbows, follow the kick. Soften your movements. Last one. Holding our ball. Root down. Pay special attention to the hips and waist. L stance, bow the legs, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, T and ball, L and ball. Shift your weight, use your hips and waist. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball, out and to the side, move the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, out and to the side, up the part the wild horse's mane, cloud hands in the 10. Use your hips and waist. They're part of our lesson today. Hands go for the ride. Set them up. Turn your hips and waist to make the hands move and float as if they were clouds. Shift weight, spiral up, spiral down. Shift weight, kick out right. Last week's lesson to review, out and to the side, ward off. Pause, turn the hips and waist to grasp the bird's tail. Hands go for the ride, use your hips and waist, push out that energy. Separate your energy, sit down. Spiral up, time it so you lunge forward with hands and feet. Sit back, sit down. Center, bring it in, out and to the side, ward off. Pause, turn hips and waist, reposition hands, grasp the bird's tail. Contact, turn, push. Okay, watching carefully how we close our form. Sit back, sit down, pivot, open pivot, in pivot, embrace the tiger, then shift your weight, rotate at your wrists, bring them closer to your chest, push away using your core, separate, drop your shoulders, tuck those elbows, flex your knees, hands go for the ride as you now close your form. Okay, getting ready for Tai Chi walk now, okay? Going back a little bit, watching for where we're gonna be ending up, okay? Hands at your waist, stretch out your spine, then drop your shoulders. Here we go, pivot out, walk in that zigzag direction, on your heel, round the crotch, turn the hips and waist, flatten down. Sit back, sit down, zigzag out, shift your weight, out on the heel, round the crotch, flatten down, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, L stance, round the crotch, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift weight, bow the legs down, getting ready to hold your ball. Sit back, sit down, hold your ball in a T stance, out on an L, part the wild horse's mane. How's your hands getting out there? Make sure the hips and waist are used. Sit back, sit down, pivot out on an L, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift your weight, L stance, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Half step forward, hold the ball, spin it as you watch your right hand being elevated onto the toe, lift it off the ground, point it out. White crane spreads its wings. Drop your front foot, tuck that elbow in as you bisect to your danten, swirl back, look at the right hand is higher, lift up the front foot, place it on its heel, brush knee one. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, center with the parallel higher, glance at the back hand, brush knee two. Sit back, sit down, pivot out. Right hand higher, brush knee, hands go for the ride. Half step forward, sit back, rock the front foot to its toe, lift up, place it to its heel. Play your lute. Drop your front foot, center your front hand, glance at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, lead with your toe, stretch out, heel, pivot to the front as you meet, slide forward, slide back. Center, lead with your toe, glance, lift up, stretch out, heel, pivot, slide. Center, higher, glance, lead with your toe, lift up, stretch out, heel, pivot, slide. This is our last one, so we're going to modify that foot that comes back, our right foot. Here we go. Lift up, ear, twist to make that foot parallel to the line or on the line. Hold your ball in a T stance. We're going to ward off like last week's lesson. Out on an L, move that ball, round the crotch, push by forearming. Turn the hips and waist, reposition the hands. How do the hands go for the ride? Leave them there as you pull back. Turn at the hips and waist, sit back. Contact, turn at the hips and waist, push the energy, separate your hands, roll back, sit down. Spiral up, then forward. Other side, sit back, twist, round with a ball and a T, out on an L, ward off. Pause, turn hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, center, push out, separate and roll back, sit down, up, lunge forward all together. Sit back, sit down, twist, cup, twist out to the 9, come back to the 12 stem cup, look at the 3 and hook, T, out across your face, L, single whip. Today's lesson, okay? All right, going back to your original home and going to our left, okay? Still warming up. This time we'll get in commencing form, okay? Good Tai Chi posture, let your hands go for the ride, okay? Repeat those words to yourself. Hands go for the ride because we know how to do Tai Chi correctly. Shift weight to the right, heel comes up on your toe, off the ground, toe, arch, heel, rotate. Take a deep breath in as we elevate. Release, flex. Hold your ball without bringing up your shoulder, out on an L, round the crotch, part the wild horse's mane. Nice and soft, nice and round. Sit back, twist, center, L, second parting of the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift, L, turn the hips and waist, final parting of the wild horse's mane. Half step forward, spin the ball, elevate that right as you want, hand and toe on the front, set it down, white crane, spreads its wings. Drop your front foot, bisect by tucking that elbow in, swirling back, looking at the back, lift up the front, set it down on its heel as your hands go for the ride to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, brush, knee, 2. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, parallel higher all together, hands go for the ride, final. Half step, sit back, rock the front, place it on its heel, play your lute. Drop your front foot, center, glance, lead with your toe up, stretch, heel, pivot, slide, repulse 1. Center, glance on the toe of the front, lift, ear, heel, pivot, slide, center, higher, glance, lead with the toe, stretch it out, heel, pivot. 3, don't forget to modify, lead with your toe, modify that foot, slide. Hold your ball in a T-stance. We're going to ward off. Out into the side, round the crotch, push that energy out. Turn the hips and waist, reposition hands, hands go for the ride. We're forcing our core to do the work for us, using our hips and waist to power our upper body, using our mind to implement whatever we want our body to do, which is the training and the drill and the demos that you've been watching and the audio that you've been listening to. Sit back, sit down, come up, lunge forward together. New lesson. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, 12 o'clock. Pivot out, 9 o'clock. Close the foot, 12 o'clock. 3 o'clock, hook. Left hand across the face, comes out at the same time you do a single whip. Going to go over all of it first and then we'll break it down. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, 12 o'clock cup, 3 o'clock. Hands are ready for cloud hands. 12 o'clock cup, out to the 9 o'clock. Flip the hands, close the feet. Use your hips and waist to make your numbers of the clock be addressed by the hands. 3 o'clock. Use your hips and waist. If your hips and waist do not move, your hands and upper body cannot move or should not move. Last one, so now we're going to hook again. Form the T with your left foot. The left hand comes across the face. You're going to step out and you're going to turn your wrists so that now your palms are facing outwards as you do the final single whip. Half step, sit back, hands go for the ride. As soon as you press down on your back foot, you lift up the front foot and you come up the horse's mane as the left hand comes to your hips. You cross at your wrist, palms are down, you step out with your left heel, you gather the energy closer to your danten, right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kick out. In, drop gently on your heel, and you're going to punch your opponent in his ears. But after that, you're going to slightly turn your wrist closer to his ears as if to say, one final cinching down. Okay, and we'll talk about it. Sit back, sit down, pivot all the way around, left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out, left. Okay, and so this is what we're going to try to accomplish this morning. It's a lot, and because we can't hold our stance for a long time, we're going to try hard to get in all the elements that furnish that quickness of movement. Okay, so you're going to really have to perk up your ears, you're going to really have to watch, you're really going to have to try to alter what you already know, and the best way is just kind of forget and leave aside what you already know and bring in fresh knowledge, and then together when you're in our quiet moment kind of meld the things together. Okay, so any questions up through grasping of the bird's tail? That's important, okay? Because you know that each previous movement relies on good formation and posture to get into a good new movement. Okay? So any questions? Any questions? So to get into cloud hands, we have to first start a single whip. Single whip can be best taught this way, okay? As if you've never learned before. You put 2 feet on 2 different lines on that block. You drag the right foot back and you 45-degree it. And you find that comfortable stance, and the left foot is forward, the left hand is forward, wearing your mittens, sort of in line with your toe. It could be a little bit further, but not drastically forward, because you saw right away that you want to maintain your Tai Chi posture. The right hand is not towards us, not directly across from us, but slightly back, slightly higher, in a hook. So the hook is, the thumb is surrounded by the 4 fingers. This is single whip. And you don't want to crunch it in, you want to kind of extend. You kind of want to extend in this format. You kind of want to extend, okay? You don't want to crunch this way, you want to extend to maintain proper alignment and strong alignment, good balance, all right? So I'm going to be like you, single whip. Sit back, sit down, pivot the left foot, parameter 1 cloud hand, is that right? That's how you get into cloud hands, and then I need to reposition you again, okay? So let's just practice one more time. Single whip, sit back, sit down, pivot the left foot, left hand goes cup, 3 o'clock, you're in cloud hands, okay? So let's do it the other way now. Left foot on the line, right foot on the other side, 45 the right, single whip. This is the way you would do it normally with doing Yang 24. Sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock cup, 3 o'clock cloud hands. Okay, one more time. Single whip. Twist, 12 o'clock. Twist, 3 o'clock. All right, this time you say, that's not so bad. I can see a clock in front of me, and I know what she means by cup. This time, use your hips and waist to get to where you want to be, which is at 3 o'clock. Single whip. Sit back. Twist. 12. Twist, turn your hips and waist. 3. 12. Cup and stem. Stem and cup. Out to the 9. Flip the hands, close the feet. Put emphasis on your hips. 1, 2, 3. 2 things happen. Hips and waist are moving you, not your hands. Close, flip. 12. 1, 2, 3. Flip, open. Hips and waist, are they working? 9, close. 12, stem cup. Here's that hook coming through at 3. Here's that spiral coming across your face in a T stance. Step out, turn the palm, second single whip. Okay. Do you know what you're doing? Yeah, I saw a lot of yeses and smiles. So something's either going correctly or you're having fun, which is very good. Okay, can't ask for more. All right, your turn to watch. Your turn to do. So I isolated the movement, so we started with single whip. But then now we need to add on, how do you get from grasping of the bird's tail to get into a single whip? But I want to just take that one portion first and see if you need any help, anything more on it. Again, I see people kind of running it in their mind as to whether they can, do it and remember it. Anything? Okay, so we're going to layer it with the previous movement, which is grasping of the bird's tail. Okay, so when we grasp the bird's tail, we are on a T, out and to the side, ward off. Turn hips and waist, reposition hands. Hands go for the ride. How? Sit down, sit back, use your hips and waist to turn. Contact, using your hips and waist to turn. Push out the energy. Separate the hands, separate the energy. Roll back, sit down. Can come up, then lunge forward together. Other side, sit back, sit down, pivot. T, center with a ball, bring it in. L, round the crotch, forearm. Turn hips and waist, reposition. Grasp the bird's tail, sit down. Turn at the hips and waist to look back. Contact, turn again at the hips and waist. Center, push out, roll back. Sit down. Come up, lunge forward. Here we go, as if you didn't have any instructions. Sit down, sit back, pivot, 12 o'clock, stem cup. Hips and waist get you out to the 9. Stem cup. You're going to form a hook, balance with the T, out on an L, across the face, single whip. Sit back, sit down, pivot. 3 o'clock. Okay? So let's shorten it up. So to get into single whip, to get into cloud hands, we have to do 1 grasping and then 2 grasping. So let's take it from the second final grasping of the bird's tail. Right foot on a T, right hand on the bottom, bottom hand advances, root it down. Out on an L, push your opponent away. Turn hips and waist, reposition hands. Hands go for the ride as you sit down. Turn at your hips and waist. Contact, turn at the hips and waist. Push out the energy, separate them. Roll back, sit down. Spiral up. Lunge forward together. Slowly. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Right hand at 12. Left heel pivots out to 9. 2 things happen. Flip, close. Is that right? Open. 1 rotation. Ah. Did I do something wrong, yeah? I didn't do the single whip. Good, good. That was purposely planned so you would catch me. All right. So you caught me. So I kind of melded the 10 form and the 24 and put emphasis on the 10, forgot about the single whip. So here we go. Do it correctly. T stance, L stance, ward off. Turn hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, look back. Contact, turn, push, separate, roll back. Up, forward, here we go. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, cup, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, hook, T, across the face, L, turn the wrist, single whip. 1 more time, getting good. T, right hand on the bottom, out, L, ward off, turn, grasp the bird's tail. Make your hips work for you. Sink down, come up. Twist, 12, 9, 12. Shift weight, hook, T, out, L, turn, out. Let's go. Two, rotation. Third rotation, final. T with your feet, foot. 3, hook, across, out, L, single whip. Half step. Sit back. Up, down. Okay. All right. So we want to isolate, we want to make sure we know those movements first before we move on. A lot of times we feel like, oh, we need to accomplish things in our 10-week session, and so we're kind of forging ahead without really being clear. So I think the drill was good. So we're going to go back to the drill. Okay? T-stance, right foot, right hand. Here we go. Ward off. Make your body work for you. Hands go for the ride. Good time to practice that. Twelve. 9, 12, 3, T, L. One more time, T, ward off. Sit back, twist, 12. Use your hips and waist, 9, 12. Shift your weight, hook, T, out, L. Okay, get good. So you're going to show me this later. Okay, one more time to do it really good. Then the next time you're on your own and then I watch. So here's how you can prep yourself. You go through the motion, listening to the voice, following, watching if you need to, so that you can internalize those movements and probably fixating in your mind so that you can tell yourself what those key words are, okay? That's one of the ways one of your options. T stance, L stance, O stance. Turn, reposition, sit down. Sit back, turn your hips and waist. Contact, turn at hips and waist. Center push out. Roll back, sit down. Come up, lunge forward. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, stem and cup. Pivot out, 9 o'clock. 2 things happen. Oops. Yep. 12, stem cup. 3 o'clock, hook, T, across face, out, L, single whip. Sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock. Okay? So this next experience is just to show that you understand, to see where I'm at in teaching. You don't have to wait for anybody. You're on your own at your own rhythm. And it's not a race to see who gets there first or ends first, okay? I'll start you all. You're on a T stance, root it down because you want that energy. Right hand on the bottom, right foot on the stem of the T. Here we go. Grasp the bird's tail. Okay, very good. Okay, so some of you said, yeah, she said very good, but she doesn't mean me. And perhaps. But you know what? That's your start. So you say, well, I really didn't know, but I followed someone in front of me. That's fine. That's a way of learning. But what are you going to do? You're going to stay in that state? No. It's sort of an uneasy state. So you're going to go home, or you're going to drill right now and see if you can cinch it down. That's part of learning, okay? All right. T stance. Out, L, ward off. Turn hips and waist, reposition. Grasp the bird's tail, leave your feet flat. Contact turn, push. Now elevate, sit down, up and out. Twist, 12 o'clock. 9, 2 things happen, 12, hook, 3, out, L, single whip. Sit back, sit down, pivot, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Okay, time for you to watch. Okay, even for grasping of the bird's tail, okay? Pick up something new. Watch what my waist is doing and watch what my hands are doing. Okay? So everybody's eager to learn correctly. So you're going to have to do what you're doing, which is very diligent, watching carefully, listening, trying, and then reinforcing that by prepping yourselves throughout that week to come back, look at the lesson, and do a good job. Because we know that we're getting to the climax of the musical piece or musical dance. We're right about to the top, coming into Serpent in the Grass. So you want to make everything fit together, puzzle pieces cinching down, not just kind of in the area, right? You want to get it up to par. You want to get that standard up, coming up to Serpent, and then relaxing and coming down home. All right. Let me just do it and pretend that you're not here, okay? Because that's the problem. You know, you have to be sure that I say and do what is right. So it was what I just said. So you don't close. Okay, one more time. And then you get to do it without me. At your own pace, go. Okay, good. So that's your platform. That's what you work for, okay? Work on. Start from there. It's not so hard, is it? You just make your body move and it's logical. What is it doing? Shifting of weight, using your hips and waist, centering, rooting down, and lifting, and alternating, right? It's harder if you have to think about, oh, my hands do something, oh, my feet do something. Leave your hands alone. Let them go for the ride. But just make sure that your hips and waist are moving and that you're rooted down so you can store that energy so that you can expend it. If you have no energy to generate, it's difficult. If you have no hips and waist, nothing's going to move. You're going to force the movements. Then you're going to be complicated. Something's frozen, so I have to compensate and figure out what my hands are going to do. So to me, it's easier if you just use your principles of rooting down, using your hips and waist to get you where you want to, using the upper body and the hands as a way of enhancing the foundations in which you lay. Okay, I know it's not easy, and I'm trying to make it easy for you. So, take into consideration that, yes, it is difficult, and I have a generous amount of room and space in which to accept people who are learning. That's the way we learn. We're not all superstars, and we never will be, but we can surely try, okay?
I've been watching you all diligently trying to learn it, and I'm going to just remind you what Lucille just told you about. That is, remember, right now, you just are largely trying to know where the hands are going and which direction am I turning. But to reiterate, what we're trying to do is use the energy in your core to drive it, whether it's coming out or going back in. When we do it, the cloud hands, we're coming here, and you have to turn your waist when you've finished. Okay? Turn your waist. That's where the power comes in. Otherwise, what happens? You're just floating. And it feels like cloud hands when you do that, but we're trying to make you build your body up. Yeah, I watch some people, not here, but you watch some of the wushu guys do it, and cloud hands is not this nice, even this, where I'm moving everything I should be moving. They're down this way, and then they come up. And then this way again, you see? But we're just doing this, turning the hips, and what we're trying to do is use the hips, the tremendous amount of force that comes out of just doing this. Yeah? Just doing that, okay? Another one is in grasping the bird's tail, after we've done this, not only sit back, but bring the hips down, like you're sitting down, and the back stays straight. Otherwise, what happens, I've seen a few who do this, and they're trying to get back this way as if they are moving their energy, but they're out of posture, and that's what you don't want, right? You want to be able to sit down, bend at the hip, you see? Bend at the hip, bend at the knee. The more joints you use when you're going back and forth, That's one of the ideas of Tai Chi. You use all of your joints. It smooths your movements. It may even help you to get from one place to the other quicker, rather than sort of walking like this. You use everything, you know. You just sort of move along and use your joints. So good, you're learning the hands, but don't forget the basics that we keep teaching you. Throughout all of your movements, you are using your core. You're trying to use all of your joints and turn them and coordinate them with your hand movements.
Commencing form. Part the wild horse's mane. White crane spreads its wings. Brush knee. Play your lute. Pulse the monkey. Modify. Grasp the bird's tail. Single whip. Cloud hands. Single whip. High pad on the horse. Kick out right. Double punch. Kick out left. Serpent in the grass. Golden cockerel. Serpent the other way. cockerel. Maiden works her shuttle. Needle to the bottom of the sea. Flash arms like a fan. Turn, deflect, parry, punch. Strip, apparently closing. First embrace the tiger or cross hands. As you now close your form. Okay, good job.